So we finished talking about salinity, how salt gets in the water, and how salt affects the animals that live in the water. And we've also talked about density of water and how the density of water can change. And so the two things that can change the density of water are temperature and salinity. So we've talked about salinity, and we're briefly going to talk about temperature right now. So most of the ocean is actually somewhere between 5 and 30 degrees Celsius, which is about 42 to 92 degrees Fahrenheit. And that temperature is actually determined by the amount of sunlight that that area of the world gets. So the more sunlight, the warmer the water in general. Why this temperature actually matters to a lot of animals is that the range, or like where an animal can survive, is limited by temperature. Many things that live in the ocean are actually ectothermic, meaning their body temperature is determined by the surrounding water temperature. So if their body temperature is determined by the surrounding water temperature, then they have to live in a place where the water is warm enough for them to survive. So their range, or where they can live, is limited by that temperature. Also, that temperature will also affect the metabolic rate, which is how fast the cells work, and it's controlled by the temperature of the organism. So if that temperature is too far outside of the range in which they can function, they will die. So if it's too cold, they freeze to death. If it's too warm, things start to go wrong in their cells and they die. So the temperature is very, very important for many things that live in the ocean. The temperature is also going to affect some biological functions like reproduction. So reproduction of many animals is actually signaled by temperature changes in the water. So when the temperature changes, like it warms up to a certain point, that will actually spawn certain things or signal certain things to spawn or reproduce. So this picture just simply shows you where, in general, the different temperatures are found in the water on Earth. So as you can see, the warm water is found around the equator, around the tropics, and then you get progressively cooler as you move towards the poles. So temperature, salinity, and density. So let's tie all of these things together. So temperature and salinity can alter the density of the seawater. So as the temperature increases, that's going to decrease density because the molecules are going to move away from each other, which is going to increase the volume and decrease the density. If you decrease the temperature of water, you cool it off, the molecules of water move closer together, and the density increases because you reduce the volume. Salinity, if you increase the salinity, the density is going to increase because you're putting more stuff, more salt in the same amount of space, so you're going to increase the density. If you decrease the salinity, your density is going to decrease. If you take some stuff out, then your density decreases. Layers of water will actually separate based on their density, so less dense water will float on top of more dense water. So the colder, saltier water will go down deeper in the ocean, and the warmer, fresher water will stay up near the surface. And because of these layers of water that form, you will actually get these things called clines that form in the ocean. And a cline is a rapid change of something with depth. And the one that we're going to talk about the most in this class is the thermocline. And the thermocline is a rapid change in temperature with depth. So at about 100 meters or so in the ocean, you're going to get to the thermocline. And so between 100 meters and like 500 meters or 1,000 meters, depending on where you are, you're going to drop significantly in temperature in a very short amount of space. And clines, the reason why they're actually important is because they act as a barrier. So they're going to act as a barrier and keep things from crossing them. So just like a barrier would keep you from crossing over to the other side on the freeway, a cline will actually prevent certain things from moving across them. So you have these clines that will get formed that act as barriers.